我刚刚为什么特别感叹我们离和平越来越远？其实连美国在本周都进行了在 Nevada 州的核试验，进行了爆炸实验，那更不要讲说俄罗斯跟中国也很快的会进行核子武器的在一个连续的竞赛。所以我们从贸易战争到所有的军事围堵，到科技战争，现在你搞到核战争的实验，至少是在这种互相的恫吓当中，这是人类很大的一个不幸。而本周呢，就关于科技战里头，最重要就是美国祭出对于尖端晶片，特别是 AI 晶片的管制，里头倒大霉的是台湾最著名、大家最仰慕的黄仁勋的辉达公司。
And the United States has just fired another shot in the ongoing tech trade war with China.
Washington has announced a set of rules to update and strengthen restrictions on the export of advanced computing chips to China.
The Biden administration says that it plans to halt shipments to China of more AI chips designed by NVIDIA and others.
去年10月7号，隶属美国商务部的工业与安全局发布一份限制向中国出口半导体的禁令文件。这被《纽约时报》形容等同于向中国发起经济战的宣战文书，是一种战争行为。而1年后，美国为这场战争添增火力。
Well, the export controls are not designed to impair China's economic growth, but they are meant to inhibit China's military from gaining technological advancements. This, according to Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo. So, a year after introducing export controls to China, the Commerce Department is officially today expanding those restrictions. Not only will advanced computing chips be limited by performance, but they'll also be limited by density. So that means you can't take a bunch of weaker chips and weave them together for faster speed. Companies that want to export AI chips to China or other embargoed regions, there's about 40 countries on that list, they'll have to notify the U.S. government to do so.
事实上，去年10月的禁运令主要有4个重点。首先是在涉及半导体制成的软体、设备与材料的禁运，企图将中国的逻辑晶片制程定格在14奈米。记忆体晶片制程上，第一轮禁运是8奈米以下的设备，快闪记忆体则禁运120层以上的生产设备。第二个重点是将高运算力的晶片纳入出口管制清单，红线画在算力每秒4800兆次运算。第三是将用于超级电脑的零组件列入管制清单。第四是限制美国人为中国的半导体厂工作。
Well, they are a sweeping set of restrictions on the sale of certain advanced chips to China, as well as a whole set of chip-making technologies that are really going to restrain China's advances in this sphere for some time to come. It will limit China's ability, for example, to build out advanced data centers and deploy artificial intelligence. Unless the Commerce Department of the United States gives them approval, that all could be cut off.
而美国工业与安全局去年扩编了350名特工与官员，半导体成为他们的工作核心。透过环球银行金融电信协会 SWIFT 紧盯中国在全球的半导体贸易，也发现了许多漏洞。首先，中国与许多国家都有 AI 产业的合作。中国企业如阿里巴巴集团旗下负责云端业务的阿里云，在新加坡设有资料中心提供 AI 服务，这仍让中国透过海外第三国取得被美国禁运的晶片。再者，如辉达，为了符合美国对高运算力晶片的管制，降规设计如 A800的 GPU 特供给中国市场。一些厂商也以小晶片独立优化后进行组装，以规避管制，这都成为美国禁运下的漏洞。这次更新的出口管制就进行了补强。
Among the updated rules are notification requirements for the export of certain chips with performance just below the restricted threshold. It also includes new rules to prevent companies from China and other countries of concern from securing controlled chips through their foreign subsidiaries.
新颁布的出口管制维持对高运算力晶片每秒4800兆次的红线，但增加性能密度指标，可说是对主流的 AI 晶片一网打尽，围堵了特供给中国及小晶片独立优化的漏洞。新规更增列了对40个国家的出口管制，要取得额外的许可证要求，这封锁了中国企业透过海外子公司的采购。
Chip stocks under pressure following the announcement of tougher rules on exports to China.
That means NVIDIA's A800 as well as the H800, which are watered-down versions of the GPUs ubiquitous with AI that we always talk about, well, those chips are now restricted. NVIDIA has previously said 1/4 of its data center revenues come from China. And so that could have an impact longer term. Shares, you can see, are lower, almost 4% right now. Intel also has an AI chip for China, the Gaudi 2, which could be restricted. Intel recently pointed to improved demand from China as one of the key underlying factors in its outlook for AI revenues of $1 billion in 2024. Those restrictions could change that goal. AMD has also been working with Chinese hyperscalers on AI chips, and TSMC could also lose some Chinese customer revenue given it has a presence in the United States and would be subject to those restrictions. And that's why you can see the share price are off for all of these names. The secretary did try to assure reporters that China still imports hundreds of billions of semiconductors from the U.S., and these controls will impact, quote, a very small fraction of this total.
显然，稍早美国半导体企业对白宫的游说并没有起到作用。而美中这场晶片战争源于美国遏制解放军的军力发展。主导去年10月对华半导体出口禁令到这一轮补强措施的，都是美国商务部副部长，也身兼工业与安全局局长的艾斯特维兹。他过去30多年的公职生涯都在美国国防部负责军备与后勤，也特别了解中国军方的采购，更从中国特殊的军民融合计划中抽丝剥茧。 精准打击。
Most advanced chips go into things like weapon systems, radar, lasers, and they can't be made very easily without those chips, if at all. Certainly not functioning at the same capacity. The restrictions that were placed on Chinese access to U.S. semiconductors and chip-making tools last October were pretty much unprecedented in terms of how they squeezed China's access to high tech in that space. And it's been a really sore point for China in engagement with the United States, because to Beijing, it feels like much more than simply restrictions on things that have national security aspects to them. It feels like an all-out attempt to contain China's advancement and economic prosperity.
美国全方位无死角的升级禁运，在当代晶片战争背后，是更大范围、更具深远战略意义的 AI 战争，对算力的争夺将越来越激烈，并决定未来几十年的科技实力版图。而遏制中国的赶超，更凸显华府当局对美国当前经济情势的忧虑。